Well, it's that time of the year when students have finished their class 12 and are getting ready for the next battle. What else but college admissions? Among the many quandaries, among the many dilemmas faced by lakhs of students around the country, in fact, I suspect it's a global phenomenon, is what to go for. The course that you want or the college you believe you should be studying in. Well, we have Astha and Rohin now debating that for us. Course or college, what does one choose and why? Astha, your time starts now. You have 1 minute. You're saying course. Tell us why.
See, when we are selecting a particular course, we are working towards the process of career development, wherein even the big counselors, the career counselors also say the same thing, that only 3 factors are to be considered: the personality of that individual, the interest of that individual, and the ability of that individual. So when these 3 are to be considered, while considering all these facts, it's more important to focus on the course and not the college, because by the end of the day, what results is in the self-fulfillment and the achievement of that individual, which comes from the course and not from the college.
Okay, that's quite passionately argued, Rohin, that it's the course that can sort of lead to even self-fulfillment, if I got it right, and you know that's what is more important. You disagree. Why is that?
The idea is simple. If you have a clarity that this is what I want to do in life, then fine, go ahead with that course. No matter where you are, you'll shine in that. But most students, when they come out of college, an average student doesn't have this clarity in mind. And when they need to choose, then they should definitely choose a college where they get that exposure, where they get exposure to an outer world, wherein they can gain knowledge in the way they want, and then they can choose a specific field in which they want to get specialized in. Otherwise, you're branded for life for being a doctor or an engineer. If you don't want to be that, then you're ruined for life.
Right. So you're saying that there is confusion anyway. You don't have much clarity. Get into an institute sort of that that has a name. So at least that name, even if you're not clear on what you want,
yes,
the name of where you studied will sort of perhaps carry you a little.
Yes, and also it will give you some buffer to kind of get mature and get more exposed. Because most of the time when you are fresh out of after plus 2, all the suggestions that you have are parents, relatives, neighbors. But when you come out and sit in an environment wherein you don't have any external influence, you can be a better judge of what you want to do in life.
Right, you can be a better judge. You don't have clarity. Why just go with the course when you're not even sure what you're going to do? Just go into the institute. But I just want to add to that. This is the world that we now live in. Is brands are everything. Be it how you dress, the car you drive. Brands are everything.
True.
So many would argue that, similarly in an educational institute, the brand is everything.
Yeah, the brand is everything, but my point of concern is how many people in average is using that brand. What about, we are talking about the cream, we are not talking about the average. So what about the average? Is the average really getting into SRCCs and high profile colleges and admissions? Recently, even if you see the statistics, Delhi University has not even opened any new college since past 16 years. The seats are limited, the students fighting for seats.
The demand and supply really completely skewed.
Yes,
yeah.
it's completely skewed. So I am worried about what about the average population. They are not able to get into the best of the colleges. There are a lot of people, as he very well said, the percentages we are receiving is 98, 99.99. Still, there are thousands of people getting 99, still not getting admissions into the best of the colleges. So what about their self-respect? What about their self-esteem? And what about their personality traits that are hampering?
That's a very important point. What message do we send out when we say that, go for the institute? Because there are all those, the cream is of course a very tiny layer. In fact, we've been speaking to students who've got 95 and are saying we're not getting in anyway either. So what about the majority?
The idea is simple. If you are going to try and shoot for the best. And when you try and get the best, you'll definitely end up somewhere where you want to be or where you are capable of landing. So it's not that, okay, if I can't make it to IIT and I have to go into depression zone, you can get into an NIT or any other AIEEE certified college. There are hundreds and thousands of colleges out there. They may not have a brand, but they might still give you an exposure wherein you can open your mind and then maybe after a year you decide that, okay, mechanical is my thing, maybe not electronics, maybe not computer science, then I can switch after 1 year. That is the kind of flexibility that I come from BITS, wherein they give us industrial linkage, for example. So we go out and do a internship program that is not available in many colleges. That is something that opens up your mind to an outer world and you know what to expect when you pass out. So that is the kind of flexibility I'm talking about. We don't have attendance. We don't have to specifically sit in a particular engineering class just because I'm registered for it. as long as I am interested in some subject, I can attend those courses. That is the kind of exposure I'm talking about.
Right, your time's up. And the kind of exposure that you're talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, but Rohin, you believe that is available only in the bigger institutions, in the ones that sort of have the name. They don't have to be the top X, top Y, but they're still among the more well-known ones. People have heard of them. It's not possible to get it everywhere, to get this kind of exposure, get this kind of learning, this worldview, as it were, everywhere.
I disagree with this because I am from Manav Rachna University, and if people would not have chosen the course, people like Gagan Narang and Srishti Rana would not have been the product of Manav Rachna. They chose the course because they were more, had that courage to do that, and they had more conviction power and things like that. So,
And it's actually sort of worked because now
Yes.
that they are from there.
so now Manav
they've
Rachna
sort
has
of-
become a brand.
Absolutely.
Because of those people. So having faith in the course and having faith in the content of the course,
Right.
I believe is more
I
important.
have to say that is really quite a splendid point because, at the end of the day, what makes an institution? It's students make the institution. So someone, and plus I would imagine someone has to start somewhere, right, Rohin?
Right. And
I mean, someone must have shown at Bits Bilani also for it to get this name, and today we have the Rohins, coming from there.
No, the idea is simple. It's there are two different things. When you talk about brand, it doesn't just come from personalities that came out.
Correct.
It is also the environment that produced these personalities
Correct.
out. So if you look at BITS, for example, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that come out of BITS in comparison to IITC. That is because the culture that is provided there and the environment that is conducive for pursuing some certain thing. Professor APJ Abdul Kalam, he didn't study in a very fancy university, but it doesn't mean that whatever college he studied in got a big star now.
Correct.
It doesn't mean that. It's if an individual excels at his personal level, no matter where he is in the country or the world, he'll always excel. But we are not talking of individuals anymore. We are talking of average student
Correct.
who is who has to try his best to get to a top institute because that is where he'll get to learn a lot of things.
Correct.
So if I am a student from a small town, I don't know what to do. I can't even browse on YouTube to find out, okay, such and such courses exist. Then I'm not trained.
Right.
So a lot of students come from Haryana, or I taught in DU for a couple of years, and I know these students don't lack the basic exposure.
Right.
And if they're trying for DU,
Correct.
just because of their academic brilliance,
It's more of a comment, isn't it, Rohin, on our system, on the quality of education. That they're at the end of the day, we keep hearing about how many graduates are unemployable, the NASCOM studies and all of that. But it's a very sorry comment on the kind of education system that we're offering these students. Wouldn't be fair to sort of blame them alone, is it?
No, we can't blame the students. But what I'm all trying to say is that try for the best, because college does matter. It's not that, okay, you have, I know a lot of venture capitalists who have pursued engineering or who have pursued something else in their career. Or there are so many engineers who have, or so many art students who have done entirely different. They have invented something, they went into economics, commerce. So it doesn't matter what course you did at a particular point. It's the learning that you got through the way.
And can you get that learning anywhere?
That depends on your passion alone. And if you are an average student and lack that kind of clarity in your mind, you definitely need that exposure of a big brand.
And those are the kind of students that you're talking about, right? I mean, the average student that perhaps doesn't have the exposure, doesn't have the clarity, but that's of course, he's not agreeing with you at all. He's not convinced at all.
See, these days, a lot of internship programs, as he very well said, is available at any place you go. Even at Manav Rachna, being a psychology student, we have a set of structured syllabus. But still, we have 50 days or 100 days of internship program, which we have been appointed under different psychiatrists or different psychologists, wherein we, by ourselves, inculcate those skills, and by ourselves, our motivation helps us do all these things. So a right course, when we have entered into a right course, that is because of my motivation said me to enter into this course. So it's all the way how we motivate ourselves to inculcate a better way.
But does a simple college provide you a facility or even the basic skills that are needed for the internship?
He's not talking about your university, your institution, of course. This is just a generic comment on, on a simple college, say perhaps in a small town in India. Is it sort of enough?
And they lack the basic exposure and skill set in order to be able to do an internship even. Most of the graduates that come out of the institutes, they're not employable even. They're not even trainable. If they're not employable, that's all right. But they have to be trainable. And a trainable person comes out of a college only when they have been given a good exposure in the college. When they are,
So you don't think it's like an individual trait alone? You're saying it
it's
is
nurture.
that
It's nurture also.
and the immediate environment that you've spent
Yes. True. Yes.
spent time in.
But still, you know, when you are talking about those people who are not able to get that training, those people will never be able to get the high colleges as well. So it comes back again, when we are talking about the average needs to be trained.
In that case, you're not going for the passion of the subject then. Then you are just saying that, okay, I'll just settle down to this because I don't have any option. I'm an average student. What I am all I'm saying is that you try for the best. If you can't get the best anyway, you will get to a local college.
I think aim for the moon and then you land up among the stars anyway, really, being the upshot of what, Rohin's driving at. But respond to his point. You know, he's asking, are you therefore saying that it doesn't even then eventually, even the cost, forget the college if you can't get to the top ones, even the cost doesn't matter, settle for whatever you're getting? Because there are all those students out there who I know are very confused, who are perhaps looking at the two of you and wishing that they were in your place, I'm sure. So what would you say?
See, course is important because, see, even the career counselors, as I pointed in the beginning, says you should go with your ability and your interest. So when your interest and ability counters to one particular course, one must adhere to that. Because admissions in different colleges can still be easily, one can easily get into minimal level of colleges as well, rather than focusing on the heights. Because focusing on heights will somewhere leads you to lower your own self-image. If you aim at high, I agree with your point that if you aim at high, you'll somewhere land up. But still the personality structure of that individual,
maybe self-esteem taking a bit of a beating when you, though I doubt if that happens in your generation, but anyway, we will give we'll give you that.
I'll let you out a secret. Okay, I come from a small town. I tried for IIT. I didn't get. Okay, and I got in BITS because it was merit based and there was no BITSAT admission test at that time. I was clear that I wanted to choose physics or electronics in my career, and I chose course over college in the beginning. But the moment I got BITS, okay, I would definitely prefer BITS over any other college because that is where I know that I am going to get a lot of exposure. Right. So when I am given a choice and when I have the clarity, what you are saying makes sense. But when somebody doesn't have that clarity, and what are the parameters that you are talking about? When you are talking about making this choice, what are the parameters that makes you take the choice? Most of the time, it is just external influence. It's not, and most of the kids.
So and so took it. My senior took it. My cousin took it.
Most of the kids, if you ask them, they'll say that I'll be Shah Rukh Khan. That's what their dream is going to be, or I want to be Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah, I do agree with his point, saying that if you are given an opportunity, say for example, you got an opportunity to enter into BITS, but what I am talking about, the average people who doesn't get the opportunity and then they fail to even choose a lower level of college for their particular course.
So he had, of course, chosen it, but then
Yes.
you were lucky enough to then get back.
He was lucky enough, but everybody is
that
not
call
lucky,
from
that
this.
lucky, yeah.
Everyone's not that lucky, but how should you choose? Well, Astha and Rohin have placed their points before you, their thoughts right in front of you. Let us know what you thought of it. What are you going to choose, course or college, and why? Remember, you can always write in and let us know. Astha, Rohin, thanks very much for coming in and taking our time to speak to us. Remember, you can tweet us, you can get onto our Facebook page and share your thoughts with us. What would you like to debate? You also can be a part of the program. You can keep writing to us and we'll try and work that around to have you on the program. We're slipping into a quick break now. Coming up after that, all the action online that you may have missed.